Thank you. Thank you, guys, for joining me once again for the Strictly Crossfade podcast. I'm DJ Bobby D. This is my third episode. I feel like I'm getting the hang of this right now. Feeling good. I wanted to. I couldn't wait to get back with you guys to bring this back to you. What we're gonna do right now, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We're gonna hit a different turn. There's a thing that used to happen, especially in DJing and music in general. Back in the, it's like the dinosaur now. I mean, you never really maybe at the end of the year probably heard one or whatever, but this here thing used to be like a phenomenon back in the late '80s, early '90s. This form of art, it was called the mega mix. Man, I mean, there's a lot of DJs. There's a lot of good ones who mastered that this particular craft. I mean, some of my favorite, some that are worth me mentioning, definitely. It's like DJs like DJ Juanito FX from California. I think he's out of like Oakland, whatever. He was like one of my personal favorites, man. That guy was he's very nice. I would love to get him on this show. Been trying to work on that now. Hopefully, that that could happen. DJs like DJ Mr. Mix used to be the DJ with the Two Live Crew. Oh, Mr. Mix is definitely one of my favorite. And that was a pretty cool thing because at the end of like you listen to like a Two Live Crew record, that was like one of the added deals on there. Like all the songs you heard on the record, at the end of the record, he'll have them all in like a mega mix for like club form. So that way, if they can play this at the club, and the people can get a sample of like all the hits that are on that particular album. So that was pretty cool. And then you go down to Florida, man. They had their own style down in Florida. You had guys like Megatron with DJ Debonair. They're doing jams like the bass that ate Miami. you know, I loved it. You know, it was debated definitely back in the '80s if this particular DJ. I mean, he had a mega mix also, and it was great. But he was more of a performance DJ. Performed with different groups, and then he did like his own solo jams. But they were like bass jams that he would cut. He would display his cutting abilities on. But DJ Magic Mike and his signature song was Magic Mike Cut the Record at that time, and that particular one right there was kind of like a mega mix in itself. So like what is a mega mix, you say? Well, let me try to explain it a little more. Like mega mix is something like especially if you're a DJ and you're DJing parties, it's like somebody did most of the work for you. That was beautiful, because like I mentioned before, being a DJ, you always have to know what the next song's gonna be, so you can keep everything moving forward, keep the party going, And there are some musicians that would put together these records that had like all the hit songs or a lot of good songs already mixed together, and it'll already be one. It'll be one BPM already, and that some DJs will buy you 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Sometimes you get like 6 or 7 minutes. Depends on how long the mega mix was. So you can put these on, and these records here, they will just be all these different other records that are mixed together rhythmically, and it was done in a certain kind of way, that will keep the crowds moving and whatnot, and then like I did mention like DJ Juanito Fex, he did it in a way, man. He was definitely exceptional. It's like listen to like his like was it world name no Don't Stop the Mix. Oh my God, War of the Worlds. He had this Scarface one. Oh man, I mean it's oh my God. I mean it's like a great thing. It's like if you could get on YouTube and maybe go back and look up DJ Juanito FX, or just look up like Don't Stop the Mix. It's just you see this guy's skill. It's like you can tell that he was definitely an artist instead of just a DJ. It's like he just didn't, because there's some DJs that just threw records together, and you can kind of tell that they're just mixing this record. It's like they just found a lot of BPMs and just put them together. But then there's certain mega mixes or certain ones you hear that you can tell that it took a lot of thought. This person put together a story or like a storyboard, and work these into like a little collaboration of like I won't go as far as saying a mini movie, but it worked. It flows. And those are some of the special ones that did it like that. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much what a mega mix was. Just and then like my personal story. Like in the area that I'm from, like with the DJ crews around my way, it's like we're like the pawn shop DJs. We had the turntables from the pawn shops, the straight bars. Maybe somebody had a good mixer, but mainly everybody had like realistic, from a Radio Shack, and we had no idea how to put these records together. And here's a story of us trying to do one. It was me and my DJ partner G Wiz Gilbert, and we brought in the third person. DJ used to live not too far from me. He still does music right now. He's with a group called Two Cold Syndicate, but back then he used to go under the name of DJ Frost, and he's a DJ more then. So I remember once we had went up to his aunt's house or something like that. We had this long table, and we thought the way you put a mega mix together was to actually get a lot of DJs together, maybe like 3 to 4 DJs, and everybody have their 2 turntables, hook all the equipment up. You're working with like 6 to 7, maybe 8 turntables, and then you got to come up with a story of like, well, what's gonna happen? Like, we sat there and you're like, okay, if you're in the middle, then you keep the beat going. Your job is gonna be is just to keep the beat, the bottom beat going. So you get these 2 records to work out your bottom beat, and then you have another DJ. His job was gonna be to like add some cuts and whatnot. And then there's gonna be the third DJ is going to be able to take over the beat from the first DJ. So you're trusting everybody to be pretty much on top of their craft, as far as doing what they're supposed to do, and keeping the beat going and whatnot. And then we got all the equipment all hooked together or whatever. And then we used to practice this. We used to literally come together and pack up the equipment and take it over to Frost's his aunt's house, hook up the equipment, and we just practice. Trying to get a certain kind of style, and we'll listen to a mega mix, and then we'll try to come back with our with our version of it. Just can't figure out like, well, how do they have this shit coming in and out, and why is it so clean, and not knowing anything about going to a studio and actually having an engineer sit down and work with you, or Pro Tools or any kind of software or computers or anything. It's like never even seen that. Like, well, wow, what is that? And that makes me think though, because I'm from Texas, and it's like, and we're in the middle of the country, and I can see, especially during music, how we get things later than most people or whatever. It's like by the time we get something, it's already been done. It'll hit the coast first. Like it either hit the West Coast or the East Coast first. And by the time it gets to us, it's already old. You know what I'm saying? Or it's obsolete or whatever. And no one that I knew, especially in my part of town, and I knew a lot of DJs, and we used to all sit around and talk and try to figure this thing out. We were all kind of clueless on how to do a mega mix or whatever, and that was the best that we came up with. And then the inevitable happened. Of course, all the great things as far as DJing here in Dallas, they came out of Oak Cliff once again. Infamous G-Rock and his crew. Those guys had just like you listen to Can O N, which used to be the radio station that used to play all the music, on the weekends or whatever. And everybody, in your neighborhood used to listen to the jams or whatever. And then boom, brand new mega mix by G-Rock and his band of cronies. It's called G.I. Joe, and it's like what the and they dropped the mega mix, and it's like, we're just like, how the hell did they do that? I mean, what the hell? Oh, yep, that happened, and then but hopefully I can get him on the show, and I can ask him those questions of things that happened, hundreds of years ago. Because I mean, I still want to know, so just so I know, how they get to that kind of thinking around that time, and how they got into the studio and how they worked it out. Just some of the details. Now, I have been in the studio many times through the course of my musical career. I've been with a few hip hop groups. I've done punk rock. My first hip hop group, Shabash 3. We have a song on we have like a platinum credit on the Erica Badu record, on the first record. Baduism, song number 11. The music from the song number 11 called Drama came from my group. So and then we've been in the studio many times, and so I've learned all those lessons. I'm using Pro Tools right now that I'm talking to you guys, but I'm just thinking back then, man. God, if I knew then what I know now, my God, I'd have been the king of mega mixes. But I guess you got to just learn things, I guess, when you learn them. Okay, well, and I guess enough of the mega mix talk. Talk to you guys a little bit of something else about especially DJing. Like, I remember when I first introduced the show, I was going to talk to you guys about some of the cultural things about DJing, and maybe some of the ritualistic things, and some of the downsides and struggles and stuff like that. Well, something I was thinking about, because one thing that's that happens, especially when you're DJing, or when you're a DJ or whatever, and if you're good or whatever, you get work all the time. Which, fortunately, I've been working ever since high school. Having gigs all the time, especially through the neighborhood. Doing parties and whatnot, and then going straight from there to doing clubs, and and then going on the road a little bit, and there's things that form. Like if you live a certain way, you start to I guess to conform to to that way of life. And it's like and one thing that I think that was a little, I won't say negative or whatever, but if you're an artist, period, a musician or artist, period, you start getting irritable. It's like, because of all the rigorous practice and things that you do, and things that you're trying to perfect, certain styles and certain techniques, certain cuts or whatever. So you get irritable around other people, because you want to practice. And I mean, I remember going into my closet, with my equipment, and trying to do a certain cut or whatever, do anything. And when I would come out of the closet, it'll be midnight. I would go in. I remember going in, super early in the morning with the sun not even up, and then going through the whole day, no breakfast, no nothing, just a robot coming, finishing off. The sun's back down again, and that was just like part of it. So, but I guess that's part of if you're an artist or a musician or something like that, that's that's just part of your life. You just and I didn't see a problem with that, and I didn't see a problem with being like irritable around other people, and then formed a complex. I became antisocial. So, and this is something that's common. Like, if you because everybody I knew was a musician. It's like, at one point in my life, everybody I knew was either in a hip hop group or some type of artist. I really didn't know any squares at one time, and it hit me one time. I was at a show, and then I'm just like, and I invited some friends down or whatever. But the only thing that I could do for them or whatever is try to bring them backstage or whatever. And they were just like, well, no, we don't want to be backstage. We want to be out in the crowd with the people and having a good time, have some drinks and stuff like that. And I was thinking about it. It's like, I've never done that before. The whole time that I've been playing music and DJing and all that, it's like I've always been backstage. and even and I can look it back in my mind right now, and I can think about it. I can remember being backstage at like hip hop shows, and I'm in a room and I'm looking, and it's everybody I know. It's like there's probably like 20 of us in there, and everybody just sitting around and just okay with just being back there, and they're smoking, and just it's a whole culture of antisocial people. People that can't function out there where all the other people that are actually paid and they've waited in line and done all that. It's like it's like and that kind of carried on when I remember when I got married, and my ex-wife, she was like she wanted to go to the club and have a good time or whatever, and I honestly didn't know how to do that. Like every time, only club I've ever been to is the club that I was DJing at, or performing, or another, or a friend DJ was at, and I got in, with him, or I came in through the side later and went straight to the DJ deal, So I mean, and it was weird. I was in the line one. I can't believe I was like out in the line, waiting with people and stuff, trying to get in the club, and and it's like, and I couldn't do it. I'm just like, I mean, I know everybody at the doors. I know all the people. I know I try to do it for a little bit, but I'm just like, no, we can't do this. I just went to the door, and I didn't know the main guy that was at the door, but the other guy that came up, I knew him from the club scene down in Deep Ellum, and he knew me. And he was thinking like, oh, like if I'm DJing, like, no, this is DJ. Rush me and my girl in, which I felt bad about that because I wasn't DJing, but that's all he knew me as. And then you get in the club, and then your girl, she want to drink, and she wants to dance, and it's like, well, I don't dance. I mean, I play the music so that you dance. And it was weird. It's like coming to that realization that it's like being an artist or whatever. Sometimes it builds a culture of just antisocial people. It's like, and I couldn't function. It was like so many people moving around and bumping each other and dancing or whatever. The only place that I felt comfortable is back against the wall next to where the DJ booth was. I mean, it's like I didn't know the DJ that was DJing that night, but I knew the sound guy. And I just found myself standing in the sound booth next to him. And we're just having a conversation as I'm watching my ex-wife, go out and dance and have a good time or whatever. Because, I mean, I didn't dance or anything like that. And I wasn't comfortable around a lot of people like that. And, and it's just, so the moral is DJ must be stopped. Man, God, that's weird. I just thought about that right now. That's crazy. It's like, I guess what's the trade-off? It's like, you just, you try something for so long, and this is a way of life, and then you understand, like, and then one day you find out that, hey, this isn't the only way to live. There's multiple ways of living, and it's like, and especially when you're in a relationship with other people, they may not share your passion. Like my ex-wife was not a musician or anything at all, so that was hard, especially if you're an artist. It's like I'm not just a musician. I mean, I'm an artist. So I think about it 24 hours. It's like I'm always creating something. It's like DJing is just something I could do. That was one of my talents, and it's just like, but I'm visual, so I'm always creating something, and I'm like I'm like in the middle of the night, the best time, 2-3 in the morning, the idea hits, boom, I'm up. I gotta get on the computer. I gotta do something. I gotta crank up the machine. I gotta pop this beat out. This beat's gotta come out, or I know how to do that video now. I know how to cut this one part. I know how to make it I'm a fade. I'm not gonna fade it here. I'm gonna fade it down the line a little more. I'm gonna do a couple jump cuts, and I'm gonna and then fade it down there. So uh, I do like the ability to have a podcast or have a way to sit here and let some of this stuff out, because these are things that I'm sitting around thinking about all day. That's in my head, and it's like I feel like I can sit down and talk to myself for, I don't know, I'm 30, 40, 50 minutes or whatever, and just get it out. Talk about it. I may come to some conclusion. We may spill an atom this episode. But anyway, all right. Let me get back more on the topic of crossfade podcast. So yeah, I definitely want to come out and first, and go into the whole aspect of mega mixes, because man, that is a lost art form. I mean, that used to be one of my favorite things, and it was always like this DJ, like the labels were always no information on this, like they give you nothing. It's always like a picture of an eyeball or something, and it'd be like the best shit you've ever heard. It's just, and it's like, I just wonder how. I always wondered if mega mixes were illegal or not, because, because it's like they you would use really all the other artist stuff. I know it's promotion for other artists or whatnot, but you were selling it yourself. So, so I guess mega mixes were bootleg, but I would imagine record labels putting it out, and studios recording it, and it's just pretty much a lot of other people's material. I guess because of technology, that's why the mega mix is not here anymore, because I would like to see you do that on YouTube today. YouTube won't let you. YouTube heard the television call for something in the background, and they're just like, hey, that's copyrighted material, or whatever, and everything you're trying to do is all stopped. Even if you're not even trying to sell it, you're just trying to promote, because that was just something that you're creating or whatever. So anyway, that's another story, another podcast, another fight. All right. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and end right here. This is definitely episode 3 of the Strictly Crossfade podcast. There's many more topics, that more things I want to get into, especially coming up with the later shows and whatnot. We're going to get into some of the more ritualistic stuff about DJing, and I promise you guys that we're going to get into the whole deal about Serato. We're going to get into that. And like I'm saying, I'm not really an acclaimed DJ. It's like I didn't win all these awards or whatever. This is just my podcast. Just things that matters, I guess, to me, or that matter to me. Things that I felt like I want to talk to you guys about. Hopefully, somebody want to listen. We're all in this COVID thing together. And just stuff because you really don't ever hear anything or learn anything about DJs. You just know that they play music on the radio, they play music in your car, and you see them on the TV. It's real fast, whatever. But man, there's stories. There's a whole world out there, man, of DJing, and just not the DJing itself, but just the people. The people that DJ, and I told you that DJs are some people that are born. Yeah, you can't make a DJ. This creature. Yeah, this creature has to be born. Because trust me, somebody that's a real full-fledged DJ, he's a bad boy. That's a nasty man right there, or woman. I'm gonna tell you right now. Oh man. All right. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me one more episode. This is DJ Bobby D, and this here was the Strictly Cross Fade podcast, episode 3. Thank you guys very much. Peace.